going to talk about picking the right eyeshadow for your eye color, whether you have a brown eye, a green eye, or a blue eye. So Tracy, we pulled you from your makeover for a bit. To give us a lesson, we've got Kayla, here's our first model, with lovely blue eyes. And one side of your face you've done with the color that you should stay away from. It's not going to work for you. And the other side is going to work better for you.
Correct. It's
right?
not that you should stay away from it. It's just it's not my first choice. So this side's going to be the colors that are not as complementary, and then this side's going to be the colors that are a little bit more complementary.
Right.
So when it comes to blue eyes, there's been like a myth that, especially in the 80s, going into the 90s, you know, that blue eyeshadow works best with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Now you can see on this eye, it's not that it's horrible, it's not terrible, it's not travesty, no one's going to die. I'm not even saying that women with blue eyes shouldn't wear blue eyeshadow, but what I am saying is blue is a naturally cool color. So you want to accent it with a warmer color, right? So I find that her blue eye kind of gets lost in that because it's just kind of like a sea of blue. It's almost like if you dropped a blueberry in blue colored water, you wouldn't really notice it, but if you dropped it in orange water, it would stand out a lot more, right?
It'll pop.
And the reason why I went with orange is because orange is a color that really works with blue eyes.
Yeah.
And so now when I say orange, it doesn't necessarily mean like pumpkin orange. You know, it could also mean salmons. It could mean burnt oranges. It could mean peaches.
Yeah.
You know, brown oranges. Okay, so that's the kind of color that
you can see the difference right now just looking at it.
It makes it pop more.
Yeah, beautiful.
As well as for blue eyes, if you're not into orange, you can go with yellows and golds, like a nice beautiful wash of gold over the lid and soften it up into the crease, and then kind of accent the corner with like a golden brown. That also works. And if you're going for more of an evening look, you can go with like a slate or a gray for blue eyes.
Okay, so make sure you contrast it, right? Yeah. So let's go over to Catherine now. Catherine is our green-eyed beauty.
Right.
And on one side, you've got what color going on?
It's more of a gray, and grays don't necessarily work that well with greens. It's not, once again, it's not that you can't wear it.
Yeah.
It's just not the best color to go with green. The best colors for green eyes are purples. And once again, purple doesn't mean like Barney purple. It doesn't have to be that kind of purple. It can be, it can cover the spectrum of like violets with a lot of browns in them, deeper purples like plums and burgundies and eggplants, especially if your eye is a darker green color. So over here, if you want to just look, I concentrated, if you want to close your eyes just for a second, I concentrated the plum in the crease of the eye.
Yeah.
And then I went over on top of the lid with like a much lighter lavender right above the iris, because that's where the eye and the lavender together is going to make the eye pop.
Right.
I concentrated on the crease because I didn't want to put a color of like purple all over the lid. You have to be careful when you're playing with purples and you put it all over the eye. Sometimes it can mimic like a tired looking eye.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
So also with this, if you prefer, if that doesn't work for you and you had green eyes, you can go with like a rusty brown kind of brick kind of color. Those also
something
coppers,
warmer.
Those go well with this.
Okay, now let's look at Marilyn. Marilyn has our brown eyes, and the best
brown
thing to
eyes,
work with a brown eye.
More than 50% of us have brown eyes, right? Actually, I just made that up. I don't even know. I was like, I shouldn't get. I should let you guys know. I just made that up. I made up everything I just said today. Well, really, like, not that brown can't be worn on brown eyes, but the thing with brown eyes is they're the easiest and the hardest eye. Easiest because brown matches everything. It's a neutral.
Look right forward, because we want to see which side looks better for you. Oh,
right.
and you can see the brown. You can barely even see it.
It's a neutral, right? So brown works with everything. It matches everything. Think about it. There is no color that clashes with brown, right? But I put that as the bad eye just because if we can wear anything, why go with brown?
Right.
You know, go with something else, right?
Give yourself a color.
Give yourself some pop.
Yeah.
So over here, I went with something with a little bit more color. The problem with brown eyes too is why they're easiest and hardest is because they match with everything. Sometimes you have to start taking things like clothing and your hair color and your skin color into consideration when it comes to browns, because you can wear anything with brown, right? So I don't subscribe to, you know, the old school way of thinking of you're an autumn, you're a winter, you have to wear these kind of colors. That's really old school. I think all of us can wear certain colors. I think most of us can wear most colors. It's just how you apply it and where you put it on the eye. And I think we could all get away with wearing anything that we want.
Very cool. I love that. Great look. Well,